Okay, so it's that time. We're going to talk about that last ditch effort. Hail Mary here. Cans. Aluminum cans, like pop cans. Um, on the scale of like inglorious ways to make a buck, I promise I will not go beneath this one. Um, but that having been said, it's not a bad one. Um, it's stigmatized, sure, because of people who we know are homeless that have like a shopping cart full of cans, and you're knowing that that shopping cart full of cans is worth like $2.50. Um, I think that's part of the thing here. Um, if they can get by on just that, then the extra $2.50, and I'll show you how in a minute. It's actually you can do quite a bit more than that. Um, the extra $2.50 though is enough, or at least should be enough for me or you or anyone else to turn it into 10, which then we have other options on the table at this point that we've already seen that we can turn 10 into a 50 and so on. And that's the general idea with all of this is take what you have, even if what you have is nothing, and that's where we're working here. If what you have is absolutely nothing, you're not employed. If you are employed, obviously this one is kind of a swing and a miss. Just because you would be really hard pressed to make more in a day doing this than you will in an hour doing other things without the additional other half, which again is not going to help you a whole lot. Um, Basically, if you're if definitely if you're homeless, because again, we don't walk over money. Um, but if you're unemployed, um, it's Saturday, it's Sunday. There's really only so much you can do to look for work. But again, 5, 6, $8, be right on time right now, right? So, um, and the one caveat to this, it will not work in the more rural the area that you're in is, the less effective this is going to be. Um, in the suburbs, especially downtown, the closer you get to a downtown area, the better, because the more callous people are and the more um, wasteful in general they tend to be. Um, just cruise around. You don't even need to put the expenditure on this one for bags. If you have trash bags on hand, great, it helps. But if you go to like Walmart and just walk up to the check yourself out lane, any grocery store that has one, same thing. Uh, I mean, they won't stop you if you don't say anything. But I always ask, hey, can I grab a couple of these bags? They don't care. Grab like two or three of the bags, cruise on. Um, Show you some numbers here that I don't know about interesting. In a way, potentially they could be argued as depressing, or they could be argued as $8 when you need $8. Bear with me because I'm reading this upside down and backwards, but I've made a little table here. So they have what's called a bottle bill in a lot of places, and that's where by law they have to give you either 10 or 5 cents for plastic bottles and cans. Pray that you live in one of those places, because you will get a lot more bang for your buck off of this strategy and them. The rest of us, the cost of aluminum, and this is one of those incentive things. People would recycle more. In these states, the states that have these, they have about 80% more engagement in recycling than the rest of us. The rest of us get about 1.7 cents per pound actual. We get about 1.5 cents per can. I'm sorry, 1.7 cents per can actual. About 1.75 is the number that I decided to go with, just to factor in if you have to buy a box of bags. And this number would only be for the first time you go in. Obviously, a box of bags, of trash bags, probably last you quite a few times. So, in order to get $1 in one of the states with a bottle law, where it's 10 or 5 cents, you need either 10 or 20 cans or bottles. Nice and easy. In a non-bottle law state, you're going to need 66 aluminum cans, one like Safeway, Walmart, like grocery bag is going to hold approximately 99 cents worth of aluminum, give or take. There's some leeway there, bigger cans and whatnot. My 1.5 or 1.7, depending on if you're going with the actual number or my cut down number to give you some room for supplies, so to speak. That is for a 12-ounce can, like a normal size pop can. Those giant monster cans and the big beer cans you used to find sitting on the side of the road, those are going to be worth more because they're bigger. So there is that. Now, to get a $50 bill in a bottle law state, you need either 500 or 1,000 cans or bottles. And in the other states, you need 3,330. Now, I realize 3,330 cans is a lot. Is it? I'm praying and hoping that you're not in the situation that we've talked about where you're doing this because you're homeless and you have absolutely no option. This is, ideally something you're just doing because you can't go look for work and it's Saturday and you could use that $8 because you'd like lunch. Or just to not be broke. Maybe there's nothing specific you need. Whatever your reason, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and assume that you have a living situation. This is what I used to do when I was a kid. Again, we're going back to stuff I did when I was in that 10 to 14 range before I really got a normal job of any type. Sometimes a little long. Some of these things I did later than 14, depending on what. But you go out, you just get your bag. As you go along, you pick up cans. Step on the can, put it in the bag, cruise along, listen to some music. You'll notice there are, again, and I've talked about the coins, people will habitually, in a lot of cases, because a lot of people grossly dislike coins, they'll just toss them. So, again, and it's great luck, in a lot of the places where you go to find just tons of cans hanging out, like around town, you'll also typically find big handfuls of change. And a lot of the time, the amount of change that I would find over the course of the day when I was doing it would be more than what I would actually net in the cans themselves. So that's the other thing to be on the lookout for. If you're going out and you're just going to go collect cans, go and collect the cans, and then also pick up, any pennies, what have you, as you are walking around doing so. And I know a lot of people, I don't want to look like the guy running around picking up trash. Especially today, the majority of the people who see you are just, hey, right on, dude, because, it's green and you're recycling. They don't... For me, I would prefer to be in a state with a bottle law because they incentivize me to recycle. I think the thing that's cool about recycling is the fact that there's money in it for me, even if it's not a lot of money. Um, but there are a lot of people who the recycling is its own reward, and so don't worry about how people are gonna perceive you out there picking stuff up off the ground. In all reality, they're gonna see you out there picking up trash and go, "Oh, dude, right on, love this guy." So there is that angle to the whole thing to consider. And then one last thing that as I was getting older, basically right before I quit, and I wouldn't say I quit. I still basically I still do this. I don't drink many beverages out of like aluminum cans myself, so I don't have many that just kind of hang out these days. But like I have three aunts that I can think of that drink a lot of like Diet Pepsi. I have a cousin who drinks a lot of Monster Energy drinks and whatnot, and they just throw them away, the cans. So I told him, hey, I will get you or bring you, because I actually had some sitting there. We'll bring you a trash bag or a trash can, stick it in the garage here, and I'll just come by like once a month, twice a month, however often it seems like it needs to be emptied. I'll just come by and pick them up. Since I'm here anyway, visiting and helping out with little odd jobs around, hanging out, what have you. I'll just take them with me when I head out when it's mostly full, and I found it interesting just doing that. I was still able to pull about $35. $35 to give you an idea of both how much money the cans actually are worth, and again how much it adds up in recycling money every month, just off of those three. Because again, I really don't drink anything in carbonated, not carbonated, in aluminum cans, or very rarely. So I just don't accumulate them organically. In which case, it's probably better to look at it as like a rebate than anything else. But in my situation, it's just kind of free money that happens to roll in, and that's also something you can do, especially if you happen to know someone who does drink. Just a lot of they have a Diet Coke every night or whatever when they come in from work. And also, if you're at school, which is probably less likely, or a job, what have you, where there isn't a like a marked recycling bin, just bring one in. Like I have actually done that before too. At a pet store that I worked at, I just brought in a green trash can and put it in the corner and wrote recycling on it in Sharpie, and people would throw their bottles and their cans in there. Customers too, people would see it, and again, because of the green like initiative, they would come and basically, here you go, boom, have a nickel, have a dime. At the time, I was in a bottle law state, so I was getting a little better return on the time. But yeah, in addition to, if you got nothing else, if you got no job, and you can't, and it's a day where you can't go and look for them for whatever reason, go and look for change and look for cans. Um, at least that's what I would do, so that it's not a dead day, so that you have something. Because yeah, ideally we'd like to pull like 35 million today, but if all I can get is 35 cents, then I'm gonna have to take that, right? Um, that's all I've got at the moment on the aluminum. You guys have a good evening. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends if you think the channel is something they'd be interested in, and we will see you guys next time.